Hello and welcome back, guys. This is Ibrahim Quraishi here, and today I'm going to give you a presentation on what's new on vSphere 7 Update 1. As you might know, the uh, Update 1 has been recently announced. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Ibrahim Quraishi, and I run a blog called agileops.co.uk, so be sure to check it out as I'll be posting some blog content around this piece as well. If you do want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me on Twitter at Ibrahim Quraishi. So as I said, this was under embargo till 15th of September, and obviously the embargo was lifted and the slides are available for us to share with um, everyone else. Now this is known knowledge, the VMware Cloud Foundation, which was released on general availability 2020. Okay, so what is new in vSphere 7 is something amazing. Now they have actually listened to the customers, because a lot of customers were saying, why is it only on VCF? Why is it not available on the native vSphere? The feature of having the Kubernetes workload to be running. So there you go. The new vSphere with Tanzu is available. Tanzu Grid is obviously required still, but there's a lot of components which are not going to be available when you're using vSphere Tanzu only. But if you're going for the full-fledged solution with VCF Tanzu, that basically is going to have the entire SDDC stack with NSX and everything in there. So as it says on the slide here, announcing VMware vSphere with Tanzu, the simplest implementation of Kubernetes at the fingertips of millions of IT admins. That's how simple it is going to be, because you do not need any of the complexity of having an environment or redoing your environment from what you have. You can leverage the existing environment, how it is built in your premise, the same storage, the same networking which you have, and then you can start building your modern application using Kubernetes and building using Kubernetes workload. Okay, VMware vSphere Tanzu. Again, it is the developer ready infrastructure now. It is all about developers this year, and we are giving them the tools they need to be able to do what they need to provision stuff. So this is the same slide again, which we briefly looked at in a different fashion, but it says vSphere Tanzu here now instead of VCF, which is the Cloud Foundation. The only thing you will see is we need to have the vSphere Tanzu services baked in. Obviously we have the grid here over here, and the grid services running. So okay, benefit: configure the enterprise grade Kubernetes infrastructure on your choice of networking, storage and load balancing solution. vSphere with Tanzu, the fastest way to get started with Kubernetes workload. A quick look at here. This is the this is built obviously on the best vSphere hypervisor available, Kubernetes cluster, which you can spin up on using this software defined data center. And then obviously you have VM operator, which is supervisor cluster, and then you still need these supervisor clusters to be able to manage this. Now one thing I wanted to highlight is, although we do not have NSX here, NSX was required to do a little bit of load balancing, and there are a lot of there are a couple of components which are missing, which are in VCF, and they are basically dependent on NSX. So that is why VMware decided to remove those. But you can still see that obviously you have a similar interface which has the K8 as control plane, and the TKG, which is Tanzu Kubernetes grid cluster nodes, and what you will notice here is the HA proxy. Now that is what is going to replace the load balancer, and this is the load balancer which we are going to leverage. Now it's all going to be using the vSphere distributed switch, which you get with your licensing, and that will be leveraging the networking which you have, the physical networking equipment, the storage, existing storage which you have in your environment. So that is why this is the easiest way to deploy it. So you're not actually making any massive changes to your infrastructure, but you're leveraging that and implementing the option of having Kubernetes running in your environment with vSphere update 1. Okay, so announcement is vSphere with Tanzu. This just to differentiate a little bit here. So VCF with Tanzu is the best way to run Kubernetes workload and scale it. Now that is the bit which is missing here, the scaling bit, I guess, if you know what I mean. So you won't be able to scale it as efficiently if you would have the VCF, the VMware Cloud Foundation, because then you can leverage the private cloud, and you can spin up workload using the same SDDC on the public cloud as well. So that is the part which is missing. But over here you get the fastest way to get started with Kubernetes. That is what you're getting here. Then that is the new feature which they have introduced with update 1. Just to have a quick overview, what's new again, the deliver developer ready infrastructure using vSphere with Tanzu, and scale without compromise, which is industry leading monster VMs. So we can leverage those monster VMs. There's obviously VMs which are becoming very heavy utilization on CPU and memory. So VMware is, as far as I know, VMware is the only hypervisor which can run that amount of workloads. Really, the cluster increase cluster scale. So the cluster size, you'll also find in this update that the cluster total host per cluster is increasing as well. We'll look into that in a moment. And then simplified lifecycle management with vLCM, VMware Lifecycle Management, vSphere ideas is there, a new thing which they are introducing. Look into that and share some slides on that. And then vCenter Connect is also another thing we'll be looking at. So let's get a little bit into vSphere updates now. As I said, this is lifecycle management, which is vLCM. Now this is now introduced and integrated with NSX T. Now most of the NSX customers used to worry about how to upgrade. The entire process of upgrade sometimes become very convoluted for the admins. So support in upcoming NSX T releases is going to be there for vLCM, which is Lifecycle Manager. The second thing is NSX Manager leverages vLCM Image Manager to enable installation of NSX components, upgrade of NSX components, uninstall, and obviously if you want to uninstall them, you can use that as well, and then remove a host to a cluster, and also move the host to a vLCM enabled cluster. So you can have a cluster which is built with vLCM, which is VMware Lifecycle Management, and you can use this feature to move it among the clusters as well. Okay, so what has been increased? This is my favorite one. So there is roughly a 50% increase in the maximum number of supported hosts in a cluster. Before it was 64, now it's nearly 100. It's 96 hosts per cluster, guys. And I have to admit, the total number of hosts used to be 65 since a long time. I think since 6. Release, it was always 65 hosts that you can add. But even in 6. When they released 7, they didn't increase the total number of host capacity. But update 1 has now broken the record, I guess. You can now have 96 hosts per cluster, and you can have up to 10,000 VMs per cluster. Increase maximum compute resources as well. Now this is a favorite slide again. You can have with vSphere 7, we had the maximum. This is a comparison of maximum CPUs, 256 virtual CPU you could have. With update 1, that has massive jump, not even double, more than double, right? 768 virtual CPUs. Okay, and memory as well. Used to be 6 terabyte, now it's 24 terabyte. CPU per host is the same. Memory per host used to be 16 terabyte, it's now 24 terabyte. Host per cluster, as I said earlier, from 64 hosts, it's jumped to 96. VMs per cluster from 64,000, it's been jumped to 10,000 VMs per cluster, which is massive. There's no change with fault tolerant VM and fault tolerant vCPU host. Now, to be able to go and use any value which is above the vSphere 7 standard values which you are seeing here. Sorry, I'm trying to track my mouse. You need to be running the hardware version 18. So if you want to go above 256 virtual CPUs, you need to be on hardware version 18, or above 6 TB of memory on a virtual machine, you need to be on, again, version 18. You also have AMD SC Secure Enclave, which has been released with update vSphere 7 update 1, and also there's another feature which we'll be looking next in the next slide coming up, which is EVC for GPUs, which is another interesting thing. You might have heard about I think it's Vietnami, I think, which was doing the compute virtualization, and now they are taking it similarly what they have done with ESX EVC mode for GPUs. So let's have a look at that. So EVC for graphics. Again, we all know what is EVC. So it basically allows us to have different, build ESX hosts, and with predominantly different versions of CPU, same make, of course, like Intel, all AMD, and we can have EVC enabled, and it will reduce the, it will mask the features which are different, and it will leave the common features around, so that you can work with lower features, but at least you can have the host working, multiple hosts working under the same terms, to be able to leverage vMotion and everything like that. So that's what EVC is, right? But now we have got EVC for graphics. So graphics can now be enabled with EVC, and again, that will support vMotion, comprehensive capability for capability checks, ensure feature requirements are met. So the VMware has done a lot of groundwork on this. So the initial support for the single graphic mode called baseline mode correspond to D3D 10.1 and OpenGL 3.3 specifications. So this is how you will enable it, access the EVC for graphics. So you will see the baseline graphics. This is what I was talking about, and you select that, and this is what you get. So graphics EVC available at the cluster level and per VM level as well. So VSGA, which is the virtual shared graphic accelerator, that will be used for EVC over here, as you can see. Okay, so the other thing is about feedback. So VMware has introduced a feedback, and we all know that it has been I don't know whether you have seen update the ESX 7, but it has been there since ESX 7, but now they have added a little bit more features here. They have added the complement. If you like something, you can complement it. You can take a screenshot or upload an image for some functionality which is missing, or you can write the problem that this is the problem, this is what I have seen, and then obviously there's an idea, which is basically you can give more feedback. So share ideas for improving vSphere directly from vSphere client, which is great for us. And then voting mechanism for ideas is also there, which is good, right? And the one which gets more votes would, I guess, be picked up as a next one to be improved, or feature to be created, I guess, with the idea if there is a new feature that is suggested. And then register account will be able to publish feature request, so we need to have a registered account. That's all for today, folks. There is a lot of new features there. I have only touched a little bit of this. There's new features coming with vSAN 7. I have done a complete video around vSAN 7 as well. Be sure to check it out. And there's one which will be coming out for specifically VMware Cloud Foundation 4. So be sure to check out that video as well. I will be I'll be posting a video I'll be posting this video on my blog as well, along with the blog content around this. So be sure to check out my blog, and comment on below and let me know your thoughts about this video, about these features, and tell me which features do you like in vSphere 7 update 1. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Twitter at Ibrahim Quraishi, and my website is agileops.co.uk. I'm very pleased with the new release. There's a lot of new features, and I'm going to be very excited to start using this. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Enjoy watching and keep sharing. Cheers. Bye.